Welcome to the Overland Sea podcast. Today we're talking about the Wolves game that happened on Christmas Eve. Andrew, not the result we wanted at all. I didn't think the performance was too bad. What about you?
No, we just didn't take our chances. We had enough chances to score goals, especially in the first half. I think Broja missed a couple. Jackson, I give him the benefit of the doubt because it bounced in front of him, but I'm not sure if that was just it not being a particularly good run and he's kind of forced that situation where it bounces just in front of him. And the Sterling one is just
Criminal.
ridiculous.
It's criminal.
It's ridiculous that doesn't go in. 3-on-1 with the goalkeeper should go in every time. Then obviously they caused us a lot of problems at set pieces.
Which we expected.
And they capitalised from one of those. So again, back to the drawing board on set pieces because we can't defend them. Another individual error, unfortunately for Badashil, who before the last couple of games was on a good run of form, which made a couple of individual errors that doesn't help him at all. But Nkunku got a goal, so that's...
Yeah, I said he'd come off the bench and get a goal.
Well, we say that every week, so...
Well, it's only been 2 weeks, but yeah. No, I mean, his movement in the box was a lot better for me compared to the other strikers. Like, he's anticipating balls in, he's trying to make runs, moves. He's just not static. Like, he's busy. Even
he tries to attack the ball, doesn't he?
Yeah, and even the manager, Gary O'Neill, came out afterwards and said like they struggled with him because of his movement in the box, coming out of the box, people found it he said his players found it very difficult to pick him up. And I think that's the only bright spot. I think if anything, he just needs to come on a little bit sooner. What did you think with the starting 11 with having Broja and Jackson on, with, was it Sterling and Cole Palmer, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was quite a good option. I thought about it the other week actually, and obviously I haven't said it fucking pretty once, and obviously believe me, but I thought playing against the back, like three centre backs, which Wolves often play, playing two players up top just gives them more to think about rather than any one of them can pick him up. The wing backs pick our wingers up, and then they've effectively got two that are picking up the inside players. Which I think it did us play in that formation, and we did get a fair few very good chances. It was just problematic in not taking those chances.
Yeah, for me, the pressure for me came from the fact that, like you said, we didn't take our chances and the lack of quality we had up front. I don't think we put ourselves under pressure or were struggling in any other areas of the game. Gary O'Neill also said about how they didn't know Caicedo was going to play until a few minutes before the game, and he said that played into their hands with what they wanted to do with having Enzo and Caicedo not playing, and they wanted to put pressure on Gallagher and Ugo Chokru, Big Les. I thought he did okay. I thought Gallagher did well, but I do think that when you're not scoring the chances and not taking the chances that we were given early on, because we shouldn't have gone in 0-0 in the first half. That's then putting pressure on the rest of the team to create more and to do more, because I think for me Wolves are then going, well, they're not scoring again. They're not taking the chances that they're being given. I think that boosted them, and it put the rest of the team under pressure.
Yeah, well, I think it does boost the other team's morale. Where you're like, oh fuck, we got away with that one.
Well, especially the three on one.
And you just think, oh, today's our day because it's obviously not working for them. So I think that hurts us a lot. I think at the minute it's not even a lack of quality. It's just a hesitancy up front a lot of the time. Where like Jackson didn't seem to want to take it first time. Broja seemed to want to take an extra couple of touches, and you go just. Take a touch and hit it.
No, I agree. It could be looked at that, but I think it can also be looked at quality as well. I think they can go hand in hand, those two things. Because I'm not being funny, I can't say that they've got the quality to be able to take that shot first time. So it's not as if we've seen them take a shot first time and make the right decisions. So therefore, I can't say, oh, do you know what? They've got the quality. They can do it. They're just struggling with a bit of confidence at the moment. Or things aren't quite lining up for them. I've always had doubts over these two going into this season. So for me, it's like it could be a combination of all of them. But I do think that there is a little bit of lack of quality from there, and it's looking like Broyer's gonna be the one to leave in January because he's a home. He came through the academy, and we can get more money for him.
But you can't leave in January because we've only got Jackson's off to AFCON, so we'll just be left with Nkunku.
Yeah, but that's because they're trying to still bring someone in. They're trying to sell 4 or 5 players to bring a striker in.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by that in terms of if one of those strikers is going to go, it's probably going to be Broyer because they've only just brought Jackson. They've only just brought Jackson in.
Yeah.
Whether I think that's the right decision or not, I couldn't tell you.
Difficult one, yeah.
But there is definitely a lack of. I'm just gonna say something up front because scoring a goal is tough for us, and the decision making is not helping that as well.
I do think through balls was slightly better.
I actually thought Sterling had a really good first half.
Yeah.
I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch until he made that decision.
Yeah.
And I think he dropped after that. But I thought his passing was a lot better.
Yeah. I also think we were very much on top, and then it just happened that the closest player to their manager happened to go down with an injury, and they had a team talk for 10 minutes, which I do think needs to be taken out of the game. I think this whole someone's down injured, so we're just going to have a team talk and everyone goes over to the managers. I don't think that should be allowed. I don't think that makes sense. Because you are opening it to abuse of like, oh, well, we lose this player for 30 seconds, but we get 3 minutes of this is the changing system, and it's ridiculous.
I agree with you. I think the problem with that is they'll say, well, it's a water break.
It's fucking December.
But no, not in terms of like it's a scheduled water break because it's hot, but in terms of the players are utilising that time to get some water, to hydrate. Granted, team talks don't have to happen at that point because clearly there were, tactics being discussed.
Get a board out.
No, exactly. But at the same time, well, funny enough, they do the same thing in boxing and MMA. When someone's getting a count, or in boxing, you go to an opposite corner. You're not allowed to go to the same corner that your team's in.
Yeah.
Right? In MMA, if there's a low blow by accident, they get a 5-minute break to recover. But neither team member is allowed to be near their cornermen. Not that there's corners in a.
Yeah.
And they're not allowed to communicate. Like then, even if they get caught shouting stuff, it's like no coaching, no tactics. They're not allowed to do it. So. I do agree with that because some pundit came out afterwards and said that was a turning point.
Yeah,
they changed up,
really
things up and stuff
that.
at that point, and it did make a difference for them. But I mean, they can't.
They felt far too convenient to not be.
No, I agree, but they can't. And he got up and he was fine afterwards. And he went down pretty quickly as well. It's not as if like he.
Nothing happened. No one was anywhere near him. Like
no, there was no previous challenge they could show say it happened.
So,
but they can't even keep like they can't even keep one person in the technical area. Excuse me. They've still got multiple people in technical areas at certain points. So how are they going to stop people from giving tactics? And to be fair, I think we did the same thing at that point. It's just that it worked better for them.
I don't think we do it. I don't think we do it to the level that other teams do it, where they've got boards out and everyone's over. There'll be a little chat between maybe the manager and 1 or 2 players, but the rest of them are just milling about having water.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that we don't take advantage of.
Well, maybe that's the point then.
But
then again, if
at that
things
point,
are going
there
our
was
way,
nothing to say really.
But if things are going our way, then you wouldn't need to necessarily
Exactly.
have a tactic board out, would you?
Exactly. But yeah, I don't like that as a thing. I don't think teams should be able to have team talks in the middle of the game. It's not basketball. There's not timeout.
It's just like I say. It's like a cheeky little timeout, isn't it?
It's absolutely ridiculous. I get on a summer's day there might be a scheduled water break, but I think in that case the people should run the water further down and they don't go anywhere near the benches.
Yeah.
The water's further away on the sides. Personally, but yeah, it's just another thing that managers can do to get an edge. That managers will always try and get an edge, and that makes sense. But I just don't think that.
But the question is whether it was really an injury or not, wasn't it? Because if the player's not injured,
I think even if he was injured, and he did happen. He wasn't, but because he was jumping on his horrendously injured ankle, 2 seconds later, absolutely fine, no pain, nothing. It was utterly ridiculous. And he was the closest player to him, and it's not like there was a collision or there was anything that showed that there was any reason for him to go down and be injured at that point.
I'd love to see if there was.
And there was a 20-second delay.
I'd love to see if there was an angle. If there's a different angle with the bench speaking to him at that point. I'd love to see if
there
that
might
was
be,
the case, but then again,
you can't prove anything. The manager's just shouting anyway. So if the manager's shouting,
but they still pass on notes with substitutions. Which
I think there's a difference between.
But
I think there's a difference between a subtle little tweak to one player.
Yeah.
Versus
bringing
you get
half
the team around and you've got a board out and you're drawing things on the board and it's a fucking team talk. There's only so much you can do with a bit of paper you hand to someone.
Yeah.
But a full board and he's showing a load of players how to do something is a bit much.
No, I agree. I do agree. Especially as when you look at the incident and you kind of go, what actually happened in the incident, where did it occur? Yeah. It is a bit suspect. Other than that though, and then other than obviously the lack of quality we had in the final third, how do you think we were in defence and midfield? Because we've had question marks over Big Les, you've already mentioned about Badashil not having a couple of good games now. I thought Gusto had a great game.
Yeah, I don't think there was a hell of a lot wrong. I mean, they did look like they were causing us problems.
It was an open game.
When they had the ball, but yeah, we did commit a lot of men forward. I don't think we were quick enough to get back.
No, and they said that as well. They knew that the defence wasn't that quick.
Well, it wasn't. I don't think it was the pace. I think it was a lack of effort. I remember Madueke lost the ball and just made no real effort to get back. He did a really slow jog back. And you just lost the ball on the halfway line and caused us a problem. Make an effort to get back. You haven't been on that long.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lack of effort to get back from certain players, and I think our wingers aren't great at tracking back at the best of times anyway, which causes problems, especially when we've only got 2 midfielders on. If they commit a fair number of people forward, we need to get some men back. So I think that causes a problem. I thought the midfield did okay. I think Big Les is still struggling. Didn't notice him doing anything particularly wrong or particularly well. I think he had a pretty average game. I think Connor was good.
He didn't do a lot for me to stop the defender. Well, not the defender. Sorry, the midfielder Lamina getting
for
the goal. Yeah, he didn't do enough for me. He was behind him the whole time. Just no clue in terms of what he should do. And he's a big lad.
Yeah.
He should just blocked it. Even if you're gonna say anybody to me, you're gonna say who you're gonna put in front of someone to block. I'm like, yeah, Big Les has got to be a shout there because.
Yeah.
He's not a small person. He can do a number, but he was in front of him. Lamina was in front of him the entire time. So.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Set piece.
Well, we know we're not good at set pieces.
Exactly. I think Connor was good. For me, probably the man of the match for us.
Yeah.
It would have been Sterling.
It would have been Sterling.
Made a better choice.
Yeah.
And Nkunku was probably up there, to be honest, as well as
he made a difference. Yeah, he made.
And he tried some things, and not everything worked, but you can tell there's some quality there, and there's some ability. And the only real,
I think there's more experience, just his movement and he's anticipating runs and he's anticipating crosses and he's making runs where he should be going.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's desire as well. Just desire to get in front of the man and desire to, and belief that you'll get there. And we'll see over the next few weeks if that belief dissipates because the quality of balls he's not getting. He just doesn't get the quality of balls and he gives up. But hopefully not. And I think the only real benefit is if two of those chances that we had in the first half fell to Nkunku, I think we scored one of them at least. If two of those.
I'm not being fair. We should have been 2-0 up in the first half. I really think we should have been 2-0 up in the first half at least. I think with an Nkunku on or a better quality of striker or even a winger with the Sterling situation, you're getting those goals. Just the decision making. I think the Sterling
one should be an almost guaranteed goal. I'd love to know what the XG of that situation was.
He did the one thing he shouldn't have done. Like, it sounds so easy to say that, but it's like the whole time I was like, pass it. Or if you're going to try and do it yourself, surely you would go round to your left and take it round the goalkeeper. And he's literally passed it. Well, he's shot, but it's not a strong shot, and it's on the ground relatively close to the keeper.
Yeah.
Selfishness.
I was saying the same thing.
Selfishness.
I was saying the same thing to Dan, where it's just, if the goalkeeper dives, he's going to dive that way to block the pass or a potential shot.
Yeah.
So if he's going to dive, it's going to be that way. So yes, you're right. Either he goes down the left, takes it round him if he wants to go for himself, or he ships it early enough that they've got a good angle and he can just shoot. But yeah, we live and we learn. Hopefully,
I think he does. So that's the problem.
There was a video of him on some YouTube thing, and it was like, oh, if you're throwing goal 2-1 with the goalkeeper, do you shoot or do you pass? And he goes, yeah, obviously I pass, like 100% goal, because if you mess it up, the other bloke's obviously upset with you, and you're just like, mate, that's not aged well, is it? So we'll see.
Considering as well, he said he'd come out at the beginning of the season, he's going to be the top goal scorer for Chelsea this season, which I laughed at, and
he said he would be.
Yeah, he said that was his goal this year. It was to be the Chelsea's top goal scorer this season.
Right. Yeah.
Within the season, obviously, not obviously in all, but this season he wanted to be Chelsea's top goal scorer, and I was like, no chance.
Yeah.
No chance. And with decision making like that, it's just like, you had, what was it? Who did you have next one? Was it Cole Palmer and Jackson?
Yeah.
With an open goal, that for me was a defining moment. As soon as I saw that, I was just like, we're going to struggle to come back from this now. But yeah. Anything else?
Nothing.
Any other player shout-outs? What do you think of Petrovic at the moment?
Fine. He's a good shot stopper. Again, don't really trust him with the ball at his feet. Don't think he was in.
He couldn't have done too much to save the goals, could he?
Not really. They're not ones you'd expect him to save. He made himself big, so he didn't do anything that looked utterly ridiculous. But I think those are goals. Those are ones that you should score.
Mm.
Well, I mean, maybe not the corner, but it's a good header. So
yeah, it's not his. That wasn't really his problem. It's poor defending.
And obviously, the other one's just effectively one that you'd expect any professional footballer to put away. And not one that he probably was expecting to deal with and be in that position. He couldn't really unrush because, that shield was kind of in the way. There wasn't much he could do. So he seems to be a very good goalkeeper, and I think Sanchez might have trouble getting back into the team because I don't think that Petrovic has done a lot wrong, if anything.
I think he looks better with the ball at his feet.
What, than Sanchez?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was there was one error, I think, against Wolves, but I think other than that he's been fine. But he hasn't had a lot of pressure with the ball at his feet, so I think it's difficult to compare, but also maybe that's because he hasn't held on to it for too long like Sanchez does at times. So
and that's what I mean. I don't think he's drawing it in as much. So it'll be interesting to see whether that's a tactical decision or just the way Sanchez does it. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Anything you want to see in the next game? Obviously Sterling's banned and Palmer's Palmer's back?
No, it's Sterling and Palmer are both suspended now.
Nice.
Yeah. There's a part of me that's not too worried about Sterling because I think he's been good for us and he's working hard. I'd like to see someone like Sterling do more runs in behind the defence. You know, I feel like if Mudryk gets going, he's going to offer more than Sterling. I'm more disappointed about Cole Palmer not being available, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Just from what he can bring to the team. So I think the lineup that I would have done originally is now going to be different to what I would do now, but we'll save that for the next one. But yeah, and I'm going to say it now, Nkunku has to start. Nkunku has to start up top as a striker. So yeah, but for me it's mainly the final third. I don't think the midfield did too badly considering we didn't have two of our starters on or able to play, and the final third is causing us problems because by them not doing their jobs properly, it's putting pressure on the rest of the team to, I think, be a bit more creative and absorb a lot more pressure than they would really had to. Because I think if we go in half time 2-0, I think Wolves feel a bit depleted. And they've got to do more to get the ball back and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
It makes their own lives harder.
Yeah.
If they don't take their own chances, because then, they just kind of tighten up. Especially if once the other team get a goal, then it gets really tight. It gets really fucking difficult to score.
And like you said, they're not tracking back.
No.
And we're not in a position where we can afford to not track back. I think I think that you're right about Madueke is one of the things. I think it's what Poch is trying to get at when he's been talking about him and certain players and their attitudes towards the team and effort. Because especially when you've got only Connor and Big Les on, you've got to someone's got to track back and help and support because it's just not going to happen. And especially if you're not doing your job up top, then you've got no reason not to. It's not like, was it like certain players like Ronaldo? They wanted to get back because you wanted them up top because you knew that if they get the ball to him, he could get a quick goal on a counter or something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We don't have that player.
No.
You don't have a player where you go, no mate, you can stay up top because you will do the business for us. It's not like when we had Eden Hazard and you wouldn't have Eden Hazard in your box.
Yeah.
We
just don't have the luxury to have a luxury player at the minute. And maybe it's one of those where if we had a luxury player we would because we're scoring goals. But yeah, when we're not scoring, you kind of just go, right, well, we effectively need to stop them scoring at all. Otherwise, we've got to get two.
Yeah.
And we've got very little chance of getting two at the minute. Yeah.
Maybe Nkunku can be that difference. Like just in that what 20 minutes that he was on? Was it 20 minutes? Half hour max, call it. His movement and his desire to get into positions and to pull defenders left and right and make things a bit trickier for Wolves and give options as well for our wide players, whether that's the wing backs or the wingers. He's done more there and shown more there than Jackson and Broja have all season, if you ask me. And I mean, fans are already calling for Jackson not to play again.
Strong.
Because of that performance. But I think he's going to have to play some part, or Broja will have to play some part against Crystal Palace because obviously Sterling and Palmer are
well, and Nkunku just...
Well, he can't play a full 90 minutes. I'd be amazed if he can get through a full 90 minutes. But more on that
we'll give him another 45.
The Palace one, yeah. Right, thank you all for watching this episode of the Overland Sea podcast where we've discussed the Christmas Eve game against Wolves. Onwards and upwards to Crystal Palace at home on the 27th, and hopefully we can get 3 points there. Thank you for watching.